Bitcoin and crypto is emerging from the depths of crypto fear porn hell. Or, in other words, emerging from the ocean, like the thumbnail that I had. You know, the thumbnail that I created this morning at about 5:30 in the morning, what happens is when you don't have enough coffee, okay, for these things, what you realize is you create this really visually appealing thumbnail, right? Doesn't this thing look pretty cool? I mean, I'm proud of myself. I think it looks pretty cool, right? The reality is submerging means to go underwater. What I should have put was Bitcoin emerging from the depths, but I think everybody gets the point, right? So, welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God. In today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to go through several monthly videos, okay? Several monthly charts, okay? So we're going to zoom out. We're going to take a very macro perspective view of the market, and I'm going to show you why things are setting up very nicely in the coming months for the rest of the cryptocurrency market. Now, there will be a Q&A session at the end of the live stream. It's going to be a lot different, though, from what I typically do. I'm trying to keep this video a lot shorter in length. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover specific charts that I have laid out here. It looks like I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 charts, right? So any questions that anybody has that are specific to those charts, that's what I'm going to help to address. If something I was stating wasn't clear or somebody has something they want to point out, feel free to chime in. I see a few people have joined. Thank you so much. But we're not going to go into other projects like we typically do. I have other live streams for that. So we're going to keep it just to the charts that I plan on covering here. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, as a few people have. Subscribe to the channel. And as always, I am not giving financial advice. You're a grown-up, right? So you can make your own personal financial decisions. With that being said, let's get into it. Now, what I have drawn here now, the purple lines, let me explain what the purple lines are first, because I'm showing this specifically on Bitcoin and Ethereum. What the purple lines are designed to show you are the lower highs that are being created within the chart, right? So as momentum begins to pick up in the chart, one of the most fundamental things you want to see in technical analysis, you want to see price begin to move up and take out this lower high and this lower high, and then ultimately our all-time high at 69,000, right? Red is always resistance. Green is always 32,000. The next really range here looks like it's between 37,500 and 38,400. And the last big main area, this is going to be a big one for Bitcoin. We have 3 areas of price confluence here. We have 2 red areas of resistance between 45,500 and 47,000, and then we have our lower high, which appears to be at around 48,000. So really between 45,000 and 48,000 is really going to be a big challenge. On a monthly view, when we start getting up here, and I know it seems impossible right now, but the market moves very quick. Once we get up in this area, once we've cleared this zone, this major zone, and I would call this the other major zone that I'm very focused on, you better start to get really excited, because I don't know what the hell you're looking at if you're not, because then you're just talking about taking out around 61,300 and then pushing up towards 69,000, okay? Now, the bullish thing that I like to see on this monthly chart, this is a very, very, very big thing, okay? So pay attention to this. There is an area that I have drawn here as support at 19,700, okay? Some people speak to 19,800. You can say 19.8, I say tomato, you say tomato, right? 19,800, 19,700, it's all the same. But we closed well above it, which is very good to see, okay? The other thing that leaves me feeling very good, very happy on the monthly is this MACD. This MACD is, you can see the red bars are going from dark to light, and we're sort of starting to, let me zoom in here. We're sort of starting to flatten out, right? So what we want to see on the MACD for this month, based on price action continuing to pick up, we want to see this MACD really flatten out and then begin to curl up, right? And for this orange to go below the blue and also begin to curl up. That will signal to us that we're really starting to pick up. Sorry, I got an itchy nose. that will really signal to us that we're starting to see some bullish momentum pick up in the market. Appreciate the thumbs up, guys. helps the channel. The other two indicators that I really wanted to focus on this chart, I have a key area of resistance. It's resistance right now, but we want it to flip to support on the RSI, and that is at 46, okay? So once the RSI gets above 46, we should start to feel very good about that, okay? Right now it's sitting at 42.75, okay? So we still have a little ways to go to get up to 46. The other thing to keep in mind is the stochastic RSI. Now, you guys know, if you've been following me for a while or you follow other proficient technical analysts, really the key indicator you want to look for on the stochastic RSI is for it to get above 20, okay? We're sitting, look at the lower left-hand corner of your screen at this number right here. We're sitting at 2.68, okay? So we're about, this thing has, look at this stochastic RSI. Look at how low it's been here for months and months and months. So we're sort of starting to see the blue cross above the orange. We really want to have a positive month for November to go into the end of the year in December. And we want what we really want from a stochastic RSI perspective to end the year is we want this blue to start, realistically, we want it to start to come up and approach 20. I don't know that we can get to 20 before the end of the year. That would take a lot of bullish momentum. But I think what we could realistically do is we could start to push towards 20 and get a bullish cross. So Bitcoin on the monthly, very, very, very good to see how we closed on Halloween, okay? And originally I was planning on live streaming, was feeling a little under the weather last night, so opted not to, so that's why I'm doing today. But I was very closely following the price. So very good to see that we closed out bullish above this 19,700 level. I do, I've been on record and I've shared with you guys, I mean, I heavily lean towards the bottom being in. And more importantly, even if we do get a fake out and capitulation wick that goes below 17.8 or whatnot, this whole thing's just been consolidation now for the 5th month in a row, and we're just, we're weeding people out through emotions. Let's get into Ethereum. Again, purple lines are those lower highs that we really need to take out on the upside. Okay. Now, right now, what I like to see. You see this green area of support that I have drawn on the monthly at 1330? We held that. Look at this bullish candle that we closed out October with. Very, very bullish, okay? So our first zone, this is our first zone, right? Let's take out this lower high. That lower high looks like it's sitting at, we're going to call it 2,000, okay? We're sitting at 2,000. We also have an area of resistance at 1930. So right around 1930 and 2,000, we should expect some level of resistance on the monthly candlestick. So ideally what you want to see from a monthly perspective for November, okay, just to visualize things, you want to see us close and get up into this area. That's really what you want to see, because then we have another zone of resistance right here between, essentially, we're just going to call it 3,000 and 2,700, all right? These are these two red lines right here and here. If we can get in this region right here, that's a huge step. We've now taken out this area of resistance. We've negated the lower high, and now we're going to be battling between 2,700 and 3,000. Then it's a matter of taking out, see this lower high here? Lower high, lower high, lower high. So the next battle would be between roughly, we're just going to call it 3,600, okay, 3,600, and this red zone right there is 3,900, okay? So once we can clear 27 to 3,000, the next major battle is going to be between 36 and 3,900. Once we clear 3,900, then we're just going to be hitting up towards the top of near $5,000, and we're going to be looking to create new all-time highs in Ethereum. Let's look at the price indicators, which are looking even a little bit more stronger in some ways than Bitcoin. MACD isn't below zero like for Bitcoin. The other thing similar to Bitcoin, though, is I didn't mention this actually, but the MACD back here, I should have mentioned this. The MACD on Bitcoin is actually at the lowest level on the monthly that it's ever been, right? But on Ethereum, we're above zero. We're starting to see the same thing. We're flattening out here. The negative bearish price action is starting to wear off. We can tell by the bars here. The RSI is sitting at about 46.7, so we're slightly bearish on that. And the stochastic RSI, 1022 over 987, so we do have a bullish cross, but it's still below 20. Now, the stochastic RSI is higher than what we have seen on the Bitcoin chart, which would suggest a little bit more strength within the price of Ethereum. That would also coincide, by the way, with what I think is going to play out, which brings us into the next chart. This is the Ethereum BTC relativity chart. I think I just took a look at this chart with you guys on the Sunday close, but essentially what you have here is just price consolidation. I don't know how to draw this out any better, really. I could draw out another zone of resistance right here, but I didn't want to overcomplicate this chart. In this chart, this is all you want to pay attention to on the Ethereum BTC chart, okay? I'm keeping it stupid simple like I always do. We need to break this descending line of resistance. Once we break the descending line of resistance, we essentially want to get above this 0.111. Okay, that's what I would call it, 0.111. We want to get above here, stay above here, and then battle the all-time high. If we come up and we touch our all-time high here in Ethereum dominance, which I believe we will, we're going to be creating new all-time highs in Ethereum dominance relative to Bitcoin. What does that actually mean? What it means is that Ethereum is gaining strength in terms of price appreciation over Bitcoin. That strength in Ethereum's price, okay, will bleed into the rest of the altcoins. Those dollars will flood into a lot of the other altcoins, and we should see an extremely strong alt season. Okay, now speaking of the Ethereum chart showing a little bit more strength relative to Bitcoin, tying it together with the Ethereum BTC relativity chart looking very strong, okay? Let's go to Bitcoin dominance. What's going on here? What pattern do I have shown here? Now, actually, let me make it a little bit more clear to you. You know, on lower time frames, okay, that like if I showed this on a 3-day or a weekly, you know that there was a fake out on that descending triangle that I showed you. So what if we just drew it like this, which is invalid because you don't want to draw anything through candle bodies, but for the sake of conversation, based on the fact that I drew out a bear flag and descending triangle on Bitcoin dominance for those who have been here, and I showed the temporary fake out and then we re-entered the pattern. What is this? This is an ascending triangle. This is a flagpole, and this is a bull flag. I inverted the chart to help you guys to see what I'm seeing, okay? We can draw it like this, and it's the same thing, okay? There is essentially, what's happening is there's a flat ceiling, and there's an ascending channel coming up, okay? Now, this is bullish for the inverted chart, but if we actually flip it the way it should look, some people might be confused what we're looking at, we can see that this is the same pattern that we've been looking at time and time again. I'm going to keep hammering home on the same things to you guys that I think are extremely important to point out, okay? So this is really good to see that we got this sort of candle close on the October candlestick, okay? I told you guys, once we re-enter this 39% area, I suspect it's going to give way and break. And then we're talking about revisiting lows. Look at this 35.4. We haven't touched it all the way since the massive alt season we had back in 2017. We're going to, in my opinion, hit that level and break it and go much lower, which is going to lead to a massive alt season that I've been speaking about for a very long time now. This is the dollar index. This October candlestick is actually good to see. Let me explain why this candlestick pattern is good to see for us. It's an indecision candle. Okay, we have long wicks on the top and the bottom. Let me zoom in here. We have long wicks on the top and the bottom, and we have a medium-sized red candle body. This could have been green, this could have been red, but it's essentially an indecision candle, right? And I have all the same levels of price area for the most part drawn here that we've spoken about. You can see these general rounding bottoms here. At one point I had a W pattern drawn out. There is actually a way to draw this that shows we've topped out, but I don't think it's worth going into at this point. Looking at the price indicators, the other thing I wanted to point out on the dollar index on the monthly chart that's really important to note here is if you look at the RSI, why do I have these two red areas drawn between 78 and 82? Well, if we go back in time, typically these have been topping areas. You can see we've topped out here temporarily before we went down. If we go back in time, you can see these were top out areas back in here. So 78 to 82, that area historically is an area that has only been reached. You can actually see it got reached. Oh, we already pointed that out actually. But it's only been reached a few times in history. It's historically an extremely high area for the relative strength index to get to. So it's typically what you would expect more than likely, okay, no guarantees, but what you would expect more than likely is a cool off in price, which would be very good for the dollar index to cool off for cryptocurrency and the rest of the stock market. Okay, reminds me, I actually wanted to pull up a monthly on the Dow Jones and the S&P, but didn't get that up. Forgot to do that. So we'll have to we can take a look at that on Sunday during the monthly close, or excuse me, the weekly close. We can take a look at it Sunday. But anyway, so just another sign that prices are sort of overheated on the dollar index, and we can expect things to cool off, which should be good for cryptocurrencies and the stock market. This is XRP, okay? Beautiful wave symmetry, beautiful market structure to this one. This one was actually really fun to chart out on a monthly view, really easy to chart out. You can see we have several areas of resistance here. You can read them all on the side of your screen here. Let me kind of point out the highlights to you of what I'm looking at, okay? What I'm looking at right now is, in my opinion, finally, I think we can finally say this about XRP, okay? It feels like forever, but I think we can finally say that we're not going to see XRP in the 20-cent range anytime soon. I don't know what's going to happen in the next blow off top, and you know, no one knows how high we'll go, but I think 20 cents is long gone for now, at least, unless if something serious changes with the price. Something else I could draw out here, you know, I could draw this out. We sort of have this descending line of resistance that we need to break, but this is the main thing you want to watch for on XRP. Okay, look at the touches here. Touch, 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 touchy, touch, touchy, touch, touchy, touch. I want to get in this zone. Okay, I want to get in the zone between 83 cents and 50. It's 58.5 cents. Okay, I want price really what would be bullish for XRP. Okay, over the course of the next handful of months here. Surprised that we topped out at $2 because we have candle bodies here. That was a major area of resistance. There could be some resistance, it looks like, at about 262, in the 260 area once we break $2. Once we break $2, in my opinion, for the most part, and the all-time high on XRP varies depending on, thumbs up everybody, it varies depending what exchange you look at, but I think once we break $2, $2.62, we're going to be revisiting our all-time high pretty quickly because there's not a whole lot of resistance up there. So once we break $2, there is the potential for a blue sky breakout to go all the way up to 350 and even higher. So that's what I'm looking at on XRP. The other really nice thing to see on XRP on the monthly is, even though this isn't a bullish candlestick, this is a very bullish candlestick back in September. This October candlestick right here, this one here, not very bullish. We have a thick red body and a high candlestick expressing buyer exhaustion. But what is very bullish to see in general with this chart, you can see we have all this descending resistance, okay, that we finally broke out above. I mean, it's really, really good to see. So what I would look for from a strength perspective relative to Bitcoin on this chart, first off, ultimately, I really want this zone to hold. Now, I'm not going to count out all the zeros there are. This is XRP. Think about this for a second. This is XRP USD divided by BTC USD. So it's a very, very small number. Thanks for everyone just tuning in. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button and click the bell icon for notifications on days like today when I go live. But you can see right now we're sitting at about, we're going to say 2280, right? I want to see this level hold, which is around 1.9. Okay, we're at 2280. I want to see this 1.9 level hold. So we could come back down here. We could retest this area, but I want to see this hold for strength. And then it's all about our first zone, this area right up in here. It's the 0.34 to the 0.46. If we can manage to clear this 0.46, man, there is a lot of opportunity to start moving up a lot higher really quickly. So keep an eye on the relativity chart. That's what I would be looking for on the XRP BTC. These monthly charts, and the reason, guys, I didn't say this at the top of the video, but the reason that I'm focusing on the charts that I'm going to focus on, and we only have 5 more to get through, is because they have a lot of price data in it, okay? So pulling up a monthly chart on Casper or Quant or HBAR or one, it doesn't add a lot of value because as much as, and I want to make sure that I hit home on this point, as much as it helps to consolidate price action to create a more credible view of a chart, that actually is not an accurate statement when you're talking about something that has limited price data. Think about this. If we look at a chart that has 1 year worth of price data and we have 12 candlesticks, right? We're looking at a monthly view. Come on. I mean, like, how much can you really decipher from that? And so for charts like that have like a year, 2 years, I mean, it's more helpful to look on a daily, a 3-day, a weekly, maybe a 2-week. Going at a monthly just doesn't, provide you the opportunity to discern a lot. Let's go to Doge. Guys, you can say whatever you want about Doge. I could care less what you fundamentally believe. I see somebody, I haven't commented on the comments, but I see someone expressing diamond hands. You damn right. Appreciate that comment. I know what that is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a bull, okay? And the bull actually does have balls, although his balls should be a lot bigger. But, maybe he's a little undersized. But this bull has been sitting here. I have bull balls. I don't have diamond hands. I have bull balls. Been here a long time. Okay, I know. I believe me, I can vouch for that. Doge. Okay, Doge. All right. I could care less again what you think about the project fundamentally. This chart is beautiful. Look at this monthly, and let's talk about what's going on here. A spike, a rounding bottom, and a spike, and a rounding bottom and a spike, and another rounding bottom, and we're starting to spike. Doge oftentimes leads the market, so the fact that it is pumping, you should be happy about it. Whether you hold Doge or you don't hold Doge, you should be happy that it's pumping right now. I have 2 descending lines of resistance, okay? One from the tippy top up here down that we've broken through. Another one right here that we've broken above and actually back tested, okay? So this is very bullish price action for Doge, and I have drawn out, you guys can look on the right-hand side of your screen, I have major areas of resistance to watch for at 20, 28.5, 45, and 74 cents. Here's what I would watch for. If I wanted, let's say I wanted to increase my position in Doge, or I wanted to establish a position in Doge. What this chart is telling me is, I want to see how the, let's see, what is this drawn at? 12.7? This 12.7, I want to see if this line is respected, okay? I suspect that there's a high probability that what we could see, this candlestick just printed, what we could see is a back test down to this area, okay? And this is drawn, I have a line of support at 8.55 cents. So somewhere around 8 to 9 cents, I suspect we could get a back test down there. Excuse me, if it holds, that's your opportunity, in my opinion, to scale in, okay? Now, the beautiful thing about that, if that did happen, not only would we be respecting a major area of, I wouldn't say a major area, but an area of price confluence, okay? And we're flipping resistance into support. But think about this. Let's remove this so you can see it better. We also have this descending channel that if price theoretically came down here and bounced both off of here, okay, and off of here, I've told you guys time and time again, that's a bullish sign. When we break descending resistance, come back and back test it, right? So if I wanted to get some Doge, I would look for 8 to 9 cents. That's what I would be waiting for. I would not be buying in at these levels. If you're buying in at these levels, in my opinion, what's happening is you're allowing your emotions to cloud your judgment. And also, you probably don't have technical analysis skills as well, which is an invaluable art to learn to increase, to better prepare your, to leave you feeling better prepared and to better your investing strategy. Okay, so this is Doge. Doge BTC again. I mean, this thing is, come on. Look at this. A 2-year-old could see this. Look at this rounding bottom, and then we flattened out. A lot of other crypto projects are doing the same thing. One of the other things you'll note, and maybe I'll try and set up the weekly close this way, and we can go through it. There are a lot of similar patterns showing up in crypto projects, right? And it kind of makes sense that based on human behavior and based on who's invested in this market and who's doing the buying and selling, it should theoretically, when you really think about it, it makes sense that in a lot of projects you see similar patterns forming. We see a lot of double bottoms. We see a lot of rounding bottoms. Okay, we see a lot of falling wedges, projects that are hated right now. I'm looking at one in particular that I'll save for Sunday that's in a falling wedge that I think is due for a big bounce. Okay, and again, I don't care what the fundamental view of the project is. It just looks like a great trade setup to me. But this is beautiful. It's a nice rounding bottom for Doge BTC. This thing looks very set to create new all-time highs. Now, look, again, we broke descending resistance. Look at this. I mean, we really broke it. I mean, you could draw this a couple different ways. If you wanted to draw it the most conservative, you could draw it like this because you have a touch here and a touch here. So I have major areas of resistance shown here. I mean, really for strength, I'd like to see, we could even back test down to here. It would be super, super, duper, duper, duper strong if Doge BTC came back here and back tested around this area and held and then continued up to these areas of resistance onward and upward to create new all-time highs. So Doge BTC, the way we closed out on the monthly, this is a green Jesus candle, okay? So what we have to allow, though, is for price to consolidate a bit and be patient. This is not the time to FOMO into Dodge. You want to allow it to correct, right? Because money will flood into other projects. There will be, I don't know if there'll be another Doge, okay? But there'll be another project out there with Doge-like behavior that's you're gonna look and it's gonna be up 50% or 75%. Money just shifts around and goes into other avenues. Do I have any Digibulls present? Digibyte. Digibyte coin gave me a follow. I was very honored. Do I have any Digibyte fans here? So I have a pretty fat stack of Digibyte on my ledger in cold storage that is not going to be touched for quite some time. Guys, look at this. I've pointed this out many, many times. We have an ascending channel here that for the most part is still being respected. Depending how you draw it, you can see we went below it or we're still respecting it. That is not as much as a concern for me as it is to see if we zoom in here. Guys, if we zoom in on this monthly October close, what's very healthy and very good to see for the Digibyte community, the Digibulls, this zone of support was respected. You can see it's between 0.78 cents and 0.93 cents. We respected it, okay? I need to see this 0.7, what the hell is this? Where do I have this drawn? 0.797, okay? So let's just call it 0.8. I need to see the 0.8 cent level hold. Now, the thing that would leave me feeling bearish, which I don't expect, is we start drifting below here, right? Because there's some white space. We don't want to see that. I don't suspect that, though. I would suspect we have bottomed. We double bottomed like many other projects. Bottom, double bottom, okay? And history does not repeat. History does not repeat, but often rhymes. I just want you to look at the beautiful symmetry within this chart. This thing has been in a downward channel and has been correcting for quite some time. We topped out back in May of 21. So for the span of, I'm not good with numbers. Don't tell my employer that. I'm not good with numbers. So for a span of over 518 days, we've been correcting, right? So it's been more than, it's been like a year and a half, right? It's been a year and a half. For a year and a half, we've been correcting with the rest of the market here, okay? Let's look, anything with the price indicators. I actually didn't look at this ahead of the video. Stochastic RSI has been flat for a while, okay? So it has a lot of room to run. This is very similar to Bitcoin. Let's just take a look at the MACD real quick. Let's see what the MACD is doing. I did not look at this prior to the video. So the MACD, whoopsie. Okay, MACD looks like it's, yeah. MACD to me looks like it's doing something like it did in this area before we went on our run. Essentially, you see the red turning a lot lighter here. The MACD is attempting to flatten out. You can see we were running hard down here. Now we're starting to curl. Now we're starting to get a very, very slight curl. This looks very similar to Bitcoin, okay? And we want to cross up. So when could we see a cross up in the MACD on Digibyte? Similar to Bitcoin, you could see this thing start to cross up maybe in January. If November and December turn out to be some good months, you could see this positively cross come the new year. So we just have to be patient. But I think this thing has, you can see major areas of resistance, by the way, I didn't speak to yet. We need to clear basically 8 cents, okay, 1.8 cents. Then you can see I have an area between 3.3, 4.4, all the way up to 7.1. Now, the nice thing on Digibyte is once we clear around 7 cents, you call it 7.5 cents, there's a lot of white space here once we get in this area all the way up to 14.5 cents. So theoretically, what that's telling me is once we clear this thing and hold it as support, okay, and some volume comes in, we could very easily double overnight. Maybe not literally overnight, but very, very, very quickly, like what you've seen with Doge. Okay, this is Digibyte BTC relativity. This is actually a 2-month chart. This is not a month chart. This is a 2-month chart. And the reason I'm doing this is because I think you can actually get a better visual detection of what's going on if you look at a 2-month. You guys tell me what this is. Somebody comment down here. This is wide, okay? This is a little bit more narrow, getting a little bit more narrow, getting a little bit more narrow. So we have an ascending line here of support. We also have this thick or this wide body up here, and then it's thinning out down here. This is a falling wedge. And yes, I know I know the comment in the comments, Evan, is directed at Digibyte. There are better options out there. What I would say to you is this. I'm not going to argue with you that you could give me a better investment thesis for another project. But Evan, this thing has withstood the test of time. I also love that it's proof of work. Okay. This thing has withstood the test of time. It has been here all the way since back here. Okay. All the way since 2014. It's been here for over 8 years. Okay. So I don't know how many projects are fundamentally more strong than this that will be here for 8 years. Nobody here knows. But to me, this feels and looks like a safer crypto asset to hold and invest in many respects to a lot of other projects for 2 reasons. One, the market structure I literally just spoke to that looks like we've bottomed out and it looks like we're soon in store for a mass appreciation in price like it's done the prior 3 times before. But it has withstood the test of time. It has withstood the test of time. There is a lot to be said for that in this industry where a lot of projects have failed. So just keep that in mind. That's why a definite portion of my portfolio is positioned in that. Okay. So again, I drew the technical target for the falling wedge. I do expect at some point for Digibyte to run. When it runs, what you want to see if the falling wedge plays out, descending line broken. You know how we had on XRP BTC? We had this descending line broken. We want to see the same thing on Digibyte BTC, okay? We want to see it break, and then we have 3 main areas of resistance. Now, if we start to clear, you could actually draw, I didn't want to put too many lines on the chart, but you could actually draw another line like right there. If we start to clear, okay, if we clear this area right here, there's a lot of room to run right up here, okay? But more than likely, if I had to take an educated guess, when this thing does run and begin to appreciate at a higher rate relative to Bitcoin, what you're going to get is eventually you're going to get a candlestick that comes in here and get a huge wick and then come back down. I'm not saying it's going to go up here, by the way. I'm just illustrating what has happened in the past, right? Huge wick, huge wick. You're going to get a lot of volatility, essentially. But yeah, we appear to be in a falling wedge on Digibyte BTC, so we'll have to see if this plays out. The last chart I wanted to take a look at, and then I'm going to get to you guys. I'm going to see the comments here, and I want to see if you guys have any specific questions relative to any of the charts that I covered. Okay, any of the charts that I covered. I'm not going in and charting a 3-day or 12-hour chart on HBAR. Okay, it's just specific to these charts. This is the entire total cryptocurrency market cap. There's perhaps no no more significant of a chart that you could evaluate specific to crypto than to look at the entire market capitalization, right, and see where we're at. Well, guys, what I see here, what I have mapped out, is a huge falling wedge, okay? You could actually argue that this is a flagpole. This is a flagpole, and then this is a pennant. You could argue that. Although I looked at the technical target, and in my opinion, the technical target's too high. It puts us over 12 trillion. I don't think we're going to hit. I mean, if you want to take a look, for fun, for shits and giggles, we'll take a look at it. If you believe that this was a bull pennant, which you could certainly make that argument, you would draw it from here all the way up to the top of here, okay? And then what you do is you put it at the point of breakout. Let's say we break out in, I don't know, January, okay? So if you draw it like that, you can see that takes us all the way, okay, it puts us at 13.5 trillion. I do not see us going to 13.5 trillion by next year. I think that's a little aggressive, all right, a little aggressive. But I see a falling wedge. I see on the monthly, like I've spoken to, we back tested this zone of support. What's positive to see on the monthly close, I have an area of support drawn here roughly at about just under 1 trillion. We closed the month, okay, above there. We closed it just over 1 trillion, which is great to see. What we want to see now on this November, we want to see volume come in. We can already see volumes coming in. We want to see volume come in, and we need to take out this high right here, this lower high, actually, at 1.18 trillion, and ultimately this descending resistance. We need to get out of this descending resistance here, okay? Then you can see I have a few other areas of major price confluence on the monthly chart. You can see we have it at 1.6, 2.2, 2.5, 2.7, and 3, the all-time high. Looking at the price indicators real quick, again, same story. Let's not even go into the stochastic RSI and RSI. Let's focus on the MACD. Look what's happening with the MACD. It's the same. This looks extremely similar to Bitcoin and Digibyte, okay? The MACD is starting to flatten out, okay? So realistically, if bullish momentum continues, this is what we want to see. This could happen within the first quarter of next year, so long as we get continued upside. Realistically, I think even January is a little aggressive. I know I said January before for some of the others that we just looked at. You could start to see a cross happen in maybe February or March, but basically the first quarter. So very good to see. Very solid monthly close on the total cryptocurrency market cap. I want to watch this level hold. And then we need to break these two areas of price confluence right here, descending resistance and the area of resistance right at 1.18 trillion. So with that being said, what questions does everyone have related to the charts that I covered? With that, we're not going to get into other charts. That's what the other live streams are for. Let's see what we got. Thank you for everybody tuning in. I see everyone. I see a lot of familiar faces. Yeah, so I agree with Steady's comment on the DXY being extremely parabolic and it's due for a correction. Guys, we've been covering this on this channel for a long time. I've been covering this on Twitter as well. You can follow me at Crypto Bull Guy. I've been talking about this forever. But Steady has a very good comment. Does this not, hell, I'm not even going to draw this as a parabola. Does this not look like pretty much like a straight line up? I mean, this right here is Bitcoin. Let's go back to 2000. See, this thing is just straight up. So what we would expect is some sort of harsh correction, a harsh correction going into 2023, bringing us below, definitely below 100, well below 100. So we'll have to see how that plays out, but I definitely agree with your comment. So, Evan, 36 cents on XRP, we're okay. Yeah, there's another area of support I could have drawn in here. Again, I'm drawing these areas of support and price confluence based on the monthly. You could draw one like right there. Right about there at about, looks like 38 cents. You could even move it right about there. We'll call it 39 cents, actually. I know there's another area on a more micro level, like at 28 or 32 cents. Yeah, there's a region in between 38 and 39 cents. If you go on a lower time frame, I'm sure you're correct in saying 34 or 34 and a half cents or whatever. I have an area at 32 cents. So I definitely would not want to see 32 cents break. and get anywhere near 20 cents again. I think the 20 cents is out. There's always a probability for it, but realistically, I don't see that happening. All right, let's see what else we got here. Wait, Evan, what are you saying about Doge? Oh, no, okay, I got you. So, Evan, you just said in different words what I said. I agree with you. So, what Evan is saying is, what we saw with Doge, just if we go to a daily here, look at this thing. Guys, this is going on with a lot of the crypto markets, okay? This bullshit blah, blah, blah price action, and I'd be willing to bet there's bullish divergence on the RSI. So if we flip to why is there a double stochastic RSI here? That's weird. Must have been on drugs when I was doing that. Must have been at 5:30 in the morning, just like this morning when I came up with this damn thumbnail, Bitcoin submerging from the depths. Yeah, I just got to let that go. Bitcoin emerging. Maybe I'll re-release the thumbnail and put the correction for the typo. Unbelievable. I think I'm going to do that actually this evening. That's what I'm going to do. But you can see during this price action, this bullshit price action, what was going on with price? Well, actually, it was gaining strength, right? The RSI was increasing, but price was just doing this chippy-choppy shit, right? So I do corny shit. I understand I do corny shit. Look, I started the video. You probably saw me out of the corner of the screen. You saw me at the start of the video rising from my desk with Godzilla music on, okay? I know I'm corny, but one thing that I feel extremely confident is that I fill this channel with a lot of non-hype and logical content. So when I come out, and I'm just showing you what I see in the charts, and I'm seeing sideways bullshit price action because we've looked, guys, if you've been here, how many charts have we looked at that have shown this, okay? This bullshit stuff that weeds people out. Doge is dead. It fell down all the way from here to here. I'm not fucking getting in. This shit is a scam. This fucking shit is a scam. We got the bullish divergence in the RSI. I'm pointing it out. We covered Doge on this channel several times. I spoke to it and how beautiful the market symmetry looked. Did I not? Go back to my live streams, okay? You know it if you've been here. And look what happened. And Evan is spot on correct, okay? This sort of price action where we go from 5 or 6 cents all the way up to 16 cents and we pull a 2.5x, okay? You're going to see that in a lot of other projects, okay? If your investment portfolio is 99% invested in equities and mutual funds, you are missing out on life, my friend. You are missing out on life. There is an opportunity to scale into investments like this that are doing this bullshit, sideways, choppy price action. And if you know what you're doing, okay, and you understand technical analysis, you have a heightened probability, an increased likelihood of increasing substantially your investment returns in your portfolio, okay? We're in such a young stage of the entire cycle of this market. So I agree with your comment. I'm going on and on rambling. By the way, the happy hour is going to be on Thursday, just to let everybody know. Not going to be on tomorrow. What else we got? What's up, Bugos? Yes, if anyone's trying to scare you out of the market, they must be listening to legacy news outlets. Guy, and this is something else. How much have I spoken to this, guys? Endlessly for months. I've always said that everything is a probability. I could be dead wrong about so much. But if the general narrative and most people are scared, okay, and they think a massive correction's coming in, we're entering some great depression next year, what do you think the likelihood is that that's going to happen? Okay, most people get things wrong. Most cataclysmic events and horrible things that happen in the market happen. There's signs of it, like there's signs that kind of show up, like I talked about repo rates back in 2000 and it would have been in September. Oh, it was right before the beer virus. So it would have been September of 2019. So there are sometimes warning signs that kind of show up that something could be going on in the financial industry, but no one's concerned with it at that point. Boom. Pandemic, we print $9 trillion, and all of a sudden there's inflation, right? But typically these things happen, and remove the pandemic for a moment, but typically these things happen like the 2008 financial crisis. No one's talking about it. Everybody's cool. Everybody's good. There's plenty of punch in the punch bowl. Everybody's drunk, having a great time, high on life, making lots of money, and then boom, the stock market crashes. That's the way things work. It's not going to crash when everyone's calling for it. Okay, I've been saying that for months. We'll have to see how things play out going into next year. I've consistently said on this channel, I still feel that there is a fifth wave missing from an Elliott wave structure in crypto, in Bitcoin. And the stock market is still going to make people believe in it and create a new all-time high. And that is when the bottom's going to drop out, in my opinion. So we'll see. Anything else? Evan, if those are your main positions, you're an extremely smart person. I mean, you're holding 1, 2, 3, 4 assets that are in the top 10. So Ethereum, Bitcoin, Binance, and XRP. It's extremely strong. Any other questions on any charts that I covered here? You could see Bitcoin. So Steady says you could easily see Bitcoin and Ethereum taking 3 to 5 trillion. Okay, so let me comment on this really quick. I haven't touched on this in a long time. So I don't know who here has watched the Holy Crypto Trinity video. There was a video that I published. If you go through my videos, you can find it pretty easily. Go back to videos published in 2021. You'll also see the crypto bull god in rare fashion. I'm waiting for the crypto bull god to return to true form once the bullish momentum begins to pick up in this market. I haven't had a chance for that. But anyway, if you go back to early April of 2021, there's a video called The Holy Crypto Trinity. It covers HBAR1 and Mana. I think it's a pretty solid video, good TA in there. It is also officially when I formed the Holy Crypto Trinity. But in that video, speaking to Steady's comment, I commented at that point where I thought crypto would ultimately top out at prior to having a massive correction. And I said I felt that 9 to 12 trillion made sense. So to Steady's point, I mean, think about this for a second, okay? We topped out at 3 trillion. So I think 13 to 15 is a little too aggressive for me. But the question is, if there's really a last leg missing here, and I could do some Fibonacci, trend-based Fibonacci extensions to take a look at this, and maybe we'll take a look at that on Sunday, actually, to hypothesize where the crypto market could be at. But is it really so hard to believe? Think about this for a second. Is it really so hard to believe that we could 3 to 4x over where we were at back in 2021? So if we 3 to 4x, that would put us at 9 to 12. That's what I hypothesized back in 2021, that we would hit 9 to 12 trillion, right? So I still think that 9 to 12 trillion is a possible scenario. And I kind of went through the logic. If you watch the Holy Crypto Trinity video, okay, again, April 2021. I think I published it April 3rd. The number's just sticking out of my head. Numbers are things I remember, okay? So I think it was April 3rd, 2021. But anyway, I published that video. Someone spot check me on that. Let me know if it was April 3rd. That's gonna stick with me now until the rest of the evening. I have to check. But anyway, in that video, I went through a little bit of detail in terms of how I calculated 9 to 12 trillion. I didn't just throw that number out there. I actually walked through trying to put something logically together that felt like it held to point to 9 to 12. So I do see 9 to 12 trillion as a possibility. Keep in mind, back here, we hit a level We hit a level of nearly 800 billion when virtually no one knew what cryptocurrency was, okay? Back in essentially 2017. This was the start of 2018. No one knew what it was, okay? There's been so much adoption and institutional involvement at this point, and we went from under $1 trillion to 3. Why can't we get up to 9 to 12? I think that is certainly a possibility. And if we don't hit 9 to 12 by next year, I definitely think I absolutely, and this is years out, so we'll have to evaluate this down the road. But if we don't hit 9 to 12 next year, then I absolutely feel several years out that we will be hitting market caps at that level. Anything else? Anything else? Yeah, I'm familiar with Rich Dad Poor Dad. I like much of his content. One thing I really wanted to quick mention about war, this is my dad's area, not mine, but one thing I want you to understand is if you go through the history of money, Mike Malone's series, The History of Money, nations always saw the greatest devaluation of their currency, their fiat currency, and the eventual destruction of it during periods of war. There's like cycles. Basically, when you have a fiat currency, the broadest picture I can paint for you is, the world right now, every country has a fiat currency, right? It's backed by nothing, okay? And history shows that fiat currencies, they've been around forever. I mean, the United States dollar is not some unique currency. It's just it happens to be the world's reserve currency. There's a lot of things denominated in dollars. But the premise of fiat dollars is nothing new. It's been around forever. So nations like Rome or whatever, Greece, way back in the day, they had the same sort of monetary system, right? And what always happened was during periods of war, they needed more of that currency, so they started to debase it. They started, for example, instead of having purely silver coins, they would debase it with like copper or whatnot, okay, or bronze, they would debase it with like copper. But anyway, the whole point of where I'm going with this, since someone brought up war, keep in mind that we could be at an extreme pivotal point in history in terms of moving forward at some point in this decade, what the true world's reserve currency is and the means of a monetary system. And the reason I say that is because if you actually study the history of dominance with a world reserve currency, the dollar sort of peaked at its cycle in terms of being the world's reserve currency. There should be something at some point, speaking based on history, that takes its place. The other thing is, keeping in mind what I said about war, remember that back this stuck out to me personally because I was studying Mike Malone's The History of Money, and these words stuck out to me. And I knew that we were printing trillions of dollars. We had done something that we had never done before in terms of how much we had debased our currency. The president at that point, President Trump said that we needed to do what we needed to do because this was war. That's what he called the beer virus. He called it a war. So those words rung out to me. They really stuck out to me because essentially what was happening was we were justifying the debasement of our currency and printing a shit ton of it because we had a war, right? So just keep that in mind moving forward since we're talking about war here. Really got off topic from looking at monthly charts, but it'll happen. Okay, so I think that's going to do it. Just to let you guys know, the Bitcoin Crypto Happy Hour will be on Thursday. The FOMC meeting is tomorrow. That'll certainly be a topic of conversation. There's a couple other things I wanted to talk about, including technical analysis. Had some questions on TA. So I'm going to go through technical analysis a bit. We'll cover the events. Remember, keep in mind, when you watch the FOMC meeting, if you were here last week for the Bitcoin Crypto Happy Hour, peace out, brother. Rock on. See, I told you I'm corny. So keep in mind, if you were here for last week's happy hour, what I said is, for me, what I'm watching for, I would be shocked. Actually, let me backtrack that statement. I would be very surprised. Not shocked. I would be very surprised if Powell comes out and signals anything different than 75 basis point increase in interest rates. Okay, I'm expecting 75 basis points. If he backs off and goes to 50, I would be very surprised. That's not a pivot. The language he uses, anything, he's not going to come out and say, well, I feel better about the economy and I think we're increasing interest rates too quickly and so we need to back off. He's not going to come out and say that. You have to read between the lines. Listen to the tone. Listen to the word choices. If anything in his statements, okay, make it appear a little bit more rosy moving forward and a little less aggressive on the interest rate hikes, that's a pivot. Okay, that's what the market is going to be watching for. That's what I'm watching for. So listen to the FOMC meeting. There will be other channels that will be covering it. They'll be live streaming it and covering it. I'm not going to be live streaming. I do have a 9 to 5. I do have to work. So if I didn't have a job, one day I will escape the rat race. If I didn't have a job, maybe I would cover it. It'd actually be a little bit of fun. But anyway, watch that. We'll cover it on Thursday, and then I'll have a new TA video out. I'm either going to have a TA video out. Thank you, Brendan and Evan. I'll have a new TA video out on either Gala or Doge to cover those in detail. I have a few notes written down of a few projects I want to look at here. Take a look at Casper, XRP, Gala, Doge. So yeah, I just kind of write down ideas as they go. So watch for that to drop on either Friday or Saturday. If I don't have any exciting Friday plans, that's what I'll be doing. Else I'll do it on Saturday. So, all right, that's all I have. So share this video with at least one person. Thanks for everybody for the engagement. I hope you learned something new. So until next time, spread awareness and carry the education forward. Thanks, everybody.